Welcome to another chat of talking about Kids Deserve It. Excited to be with y'all tonight while we are waiting for people to go ahead and join in. I would love to know where you're from this evening, so if you want to go ahead and type in the box where you're from. Hey, Liz joined and Chris joined. So if y'all want to just type in where you're from, I'd love to know where some of our viewers are from today. Friendswood, that's right up the road from me. That's great. Brenham, well, obviously. St. Paul, that's awesome. So, hi everybody. I am outside. I've been doing these outside every week, but our weather is getting darker earlier, so this may be my last one outside. Excuse me for my voice, and I'm gonna cough a lot today. I'm having allergies and some other stuff I'm dealing with, but this week I am excited to talk with all of you about chapter 9, which is a chapter called Dealing with Doubt. And I really enjoy this chapter in the book. I think it's a really powerful one, and I think it's one that is very difficult for me personally to talk about because I struggle with it quite often. As I jump into the conversation, I would love to have you share this out on social media, so if you'll slide across and share it out on Twitter and Facebook, I would appreciate that. That'd be awesome. So, dealing with doubt is something that I think every one of us in education deal with. I think we all have those moments where we think that we are not good enough, where we think we're not a good enough friend or brother or sister or spouse or even a teacher. And I think educators especially are especially hard on ourselves. We have those days where we think, what the heck am I doing? Am I in the right job? Do these kids even like me? Does my staff even like me? All these things. And I think it's something that has to be talked about. It's one of those things that we cannot just let go by where we don't ever talk about it. And it's something I talk about often with my staff because a lot of my staff too has many days because we deal with the population that isn't always easiest, like many of the populations you deal with. And it becomes very difficult at times for us to feel like, are we really making an impact on these kids, or am I really doing the right thing? And I think about myself personally as a leader, just being very transparent and honest. There are so many days where I feel like I'm an absolutely terrible leader, where I think, is this really what I'm meant to be doing? Because isn't there somebody better who could be doing this? Why am I in this spot? Why am I having these, why am I not being successful in this area or that area or anything like that? And I think it's important to remember that we are all going to have those days where we don't feel like we're good enough, where we don't feel like that we are doing the right thing. And one important thing for me has been to surround myself with people who will remind me of who I am. I've got some great group of supporters who will speak truth into me, will tell me to stop complaining about that. I have this to be thankful for. That is not true about myself. Because I will tend to beat myself up quite a lot with the way I handle things and the choices I make and the things like that. Even if I know I'm doing what's best for kids, there's still days where I'm like, oh my gosh, was that really the right call? And I think it's important that like I said, we surround ourselves with people who will build us up. But I also think it's important that we teach our kids about doubt and that we teach our students that every one of us has those insecurities. And no matter what role you have. And it's important for us as well to bond together with our colleagues, to find ways to continually build others up. Because I think I've said this before in one of these chats. It's getting really dark. I think I've said this before in one of these chats. But there's scientific proof that when you show gratitude towards somebody else, it improves your mood more than it does the person you're showing gratitude to. So I think it's so important for us to also find ways to recognize other people, to tell them how amazing they are, to build them up, to shine a light on them, to let them know that what they're doing is okay. And I think it's also important to remember to remind people of the times when we feel doubt, when we feel insecure, when we feel insignificant, because all of us have those feelings. And that's why I absolutely love Angela Meyer's You Matter movement, because I think it's so important to remind everybody that every one of us has worth, every one of us has value, and we all bring something different to the table. And that can often be what the problem is, is that we are comparing ourselves to other people. And when we shouldn't be doing that, we should be doing the best that we can every day, and every day, the next day, show up to be better. better, to learn from our mistakes, and to continue to grow and be the best that we can be. And I know for sure that that is far easier said than done. I think about the story I shared in Kids Deserve It, about when I became principal at Webb Elementary last year. I got moved over. It was a brand new pre-K-5 campus. Used to be just pre-K-3. There was restructuring, rezoning. We brought in half of a new staff, and it was a lot of new. And I dealt with a lot of backlash. A lot of angry parents about things that were changed, things that were moved. I was cursed out 4 to 5 times every day, and it was one of those that's like, oh my gosh, am I where I'm really supposed to be? These people really don't like me. But it's one of those things too where you can get caught up in the negativity so quickly that you forget all the great things that are happening. And so sometimes maybe we need to make a list of the great things that are going on. Sometimes we need to post that list. Maybe we need to make a positive statement that we have, that we see every day, whether it's in our car, posted to our glass in our bathroom, maybe in a closet in the classroom. Just a constant phrase to remind us that we are enough, that we are a genius, that we are awesome, that we have what it takes to be great. So I challenge you this week to go out and recognize somebody else and to make them remember how amazing they are. And on those moments when you are feeling doubt, surround yourself with people who will remind you of who you are and who will remind you of the greatness that you bring, and the reason why you are doing what you're doing. You are in this profession for a reason. You are here for a reason, and we are not meant to be awesome every day. We all have our bad days. There are so many days that I suck as a leader, and that I just don't make good decisions, and that I just don't do what I want to do, what's best. And so I think it's a great thing for us to do, to have those visual reminders in places, and to remember to tell ourselves, because there's also scientific proof that when you repeat something to yourself every day, whether it's true or not, your brain begins to believe it, and that's positive or negative. So if you tell yourself you're terrible every single day, then every single day you're going to begin to believe that you really are terrible. So I think we need to find ways to build ourselves up, but also to build others up, and to build our students up, but to also share our stories with our students so they can see it as well. I hope you join the Twitter chat here in just a couple of minutes on #KidsDeserveIt at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, as we talk more about doubt and we each share our own stories. Thank you so much, guys. Next week is Everybody Needs a Cheerleader, and it'll be a very emotional night for me to share that story, but I will see you all next week. Catch you online.